Hello, what's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Y'all can tell by the title. This is gonna probably get quite interesting. Black men aren't black people anymore. Uh, I don't think sometimes people recognize this, and I've been getting frustrated recently just listening to black men talk, black women talk, black people talk. And one of the things I've been getting frustrated with is how when we talk about the black community, or when you see people talking about the black community, what's up, Nefertiti? Well, Rasheen, what's happening? When I hear people talk about the black community, it comes off like social media interviews with black people, prominent black people, whether they're men or women. It comes off, what's up, big game? Sean, what's happening? It comes off as if the black men aren't really part of the community. And I've been sitting here waiting. Hey, Devin, Caleb, what's happening? Edward, you know. So now, are black men actually a part of the black community? Is what I'm getting at. Demetrius. Oh, I'm going to talk about it. Back to you. What's happening? So, historically, we look at black men in the history of slavery, Jim Crow, civil rights. And it becomes a problem because, I think our community internally looks at black men as 3/5 of a person. Hey, yo, what's happening? So how we gonna actually be how black people in the black community, we looked at as 3/5 from our own community. Adrian, what's happening? And the reason I say that is because we celebrate black men's in their death. What's happening, Priscilla? Lee, what's going on? We celebrate black men's death, but not necessarily our lives. And what I mean by that is, we don't mean much until it's all over. But we're used as of a barometer for the black community. When you think about what the black experience is, Gene, what's happening? D Scott, what's happening? When you're thinking about the black experience in America, a lot of the adversity was on the black men. A lot of the great efforts that make America what it is the efforts of black men. But we're looking at black men like that's who y'all used to be. That's who y'all was. Not taking into consideration that everything that we have today, and all the opportunities we have today, and all the opportunities that other groups of people in America have today, predominantly come from the efforts of black men, not even their own groups. Okay? Iman, what's happening? Aubrey, what's popping? So now, that's all good, fam. I get it. So when I think about this stuff, it's like we're not part of the community because we're not looked at in present. We're looked at in fantasy and imagery. I knew what's popping. I'm sorry. I was listening to Nicole Michelle today, and she was talking about the Green Book, and she said the Green Book had have a Smithsonian documentary that's on YouTube, and I'm listening to the documentary, and I'm like, there's history there that we overlook. And Chaos, what's happening, fam? And one of the things I was thinking about is this: it goes against the argument that's made about women not being protected to a degree. The Green Book was made by a black man who was a postal worker, right? Intense, what's happening, man? There's a black man in Harlem who was a postal worker who couldn't find, who basically created, kind of what Bing, will be now, in a sense. This is the place that you can go in the area that you're not going to have trouble. And it started from Harlem and then it expanded throughout the nation. And he used other postal workers who were probably predominantly black and probably predominantly black men to build it and build it and build it. So when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking to myself, they're talking about the Idlewild and the black beaches and the black businesses and then one thing struck me because Nicole talked about the women on the businesses, and it was showing you how the women in the 30s, 40s, like 40s, 50s, and 60s, they own businesses too. And I was thinking, like, see, when we don't put this stuff in history, Rain and Woman, what's happening? This goes against the argument that the women were unprotected and they couldn't do nothing and they needed freedom, because these women were business women in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. The men were predominantly businessmen, but the women, it wasn't a situation where the men, black men held black women back from being businessmen. That wasn't something we did. These women were free to do what they wanted to do. They weren't oppressed by the quote unquote black men. But when we talk about the narrative today, it's this narrative that black men have held black women back. But the history is the complete opposite. And that's not the only time I saw that in history. It's just we're going with these ideals. But the thing about this, reason I'm talking about this, is the black men, even in the narrative, didn't really get credit. The young lady had a story that before the Green Book, her father would go places and they'll sit in the car and he'll go in and see if it's cool, if they could go there before he go back to the car and let them know if they could or not. Because what was happening was people were getting killed, on sundown towns and getting lynched because they were places that they weren't welcome. And when you think about people getting lynched and in sundown towns, though that did happen to women, that was predominantly black men. Mars, what's happening? That was predominantly black men. So when we think about the Jim Crow experience in America, that's predominantly, it was black men. The women were protected from Jim Crow through the men. You get what I'm saying? I got you H-Town in the house. I ain't see that. The women were protected through the men because the men were the go-between. You don't have to face this. I'll face it for you. Right? But now that we look at history now, black men aren't looked at those people. We're not looked at as those people. We're something else. What's happening, Mahogany? So I have an issue with that. And I just wanted to lay some groundwork when I get to the next thing. Because the next thing about, black men aren't black people anymore is because even when I listen to stuff on YouTube or whatever, and I listen to the look at black men, as a black man, you gotta have some kind of Herculean effort and success to get respect from your own people in your own community. Now, you got to make $100,000 to be respected. Now, you got to be an entrepreneur to be respected. Now, you got to be the #1 draft pick to be respected. Now, you got to be a millionaire to be respected. Everybody else, the women and the children don't have to go through this, right? So, Edmore, what's happening? Now you got to do all these great things. And if you do those great things, then I'm going to respect you and then I'm going to love you. And in turn, you're going to work and give me everything. Big J, what's happening? So it's like, wow, okay. So these guys got to have these Herculean efforts out here. But we have this issue where if he doesn't complete this Herculean effort, he is nobody. He's never going to be nobody. But these are the type of, but we black, we go through the struggle together. How do we go through the struggle together and we're black together if I got to be Hercules and you can be human? What if I got to be a Herculean husband. I got to be a Herculean father. I got to be a Herculean black man that represents all the black people. But here's the problem. I get no benefits from being black. But we have a black agenda. How do we have a black agenda when we have no agenda for black men or black boys? We don't have a black agenda then. And the reason I'm talking about like the Herculean effort is we're fractured because the women have women's empowerment, right? Hey, Faith, Kevin, what's popping? Keith, what's going on? And here's the problem with it. Black men have empowered black women for years. And we're going to act like that didn't exist. And we're going to act like that doesn't exist. We're going to act like black men don't go the extra mile for black women. Black men haven't got black women hired. Black men haven't done things for black women. When we think about the beauty pageants, BGS brought this up a long time ago. A black man started the Black Miss America beauty pageant because black women was froze out of beauty pageants. But that doesn't count anymore, even though it's still going on to this day. It's been running for 50 years plus now, but it doesn't count anymore. We're not as good as Miss America, or Miss USA, or Miss World, or Miss Universe. That's not good enough, right? But excuse me. But with the black girls rocking black girl magic, you don't see these mothers of black men saying that their sons are quote unquote their sons rock or their sons are magic, even though the men do it. And the reason I thought about this because I bring it back into it, the Herculean effort. When Robert Smith did what he did last year about paying those brothers student loans, people jumped out the window on him. He got a white wife now, so you're not supposed to help black men who are college educated going out into the world and help them grow in the world by being a black billionaire who takes care of a generation of men who just graduated so they can be used to the whole black community. But the problem is he got a white wife, even though he had a black wife and he has before that and he has black kids. That's not a problem. The problem is he got a white wife. But because of that, all of his Herculean efforts are thrown out the window. Cosby the same way, everything's thrown out the window. Thank you for putting Cosby in there. Well. So there's a problem. Black men aren't black people anymore because you don't see the black community as far as the women and the children fighting for black men. They'll say, oh, we fight for black men. And this goes back to Black Lives Matter. We fighting for black men, but Black Lives Matter, their dogma said they're not really fighting for black men like that. Alfonso, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Man, Cole, what's happening? Daryl, what's happening? And just like the brother Daryl just said, Oprah. I'm gonna bring up something later on about that. But that's a problem because when brothers got to do Herculean efforts to be considered human, we had a real bad spot. Prometheus, what's happening? So we had a bad spot because people think that's okay. If you don't go from nothing to something, if you don't have this godlike story of all of these feats that you've accomplished, you're not good enough for the black community, even though the black community ain't putting up these Herculean efforts. You are. That's a problem. The next part about it is black men aren't black people anymore because black men are American. And what I mean by that is within the black community and outside of the black community. If y'all remember Do the Right Thing, when they had that scene in Do the Right Thing. What's happening, Kobe? When they had that scene in Do the Right Thing, Mike, what's popping? Yeah, I don't have to be a rapper to matter. I got to put that up, fam. You know what I'm saying? Can somebody it's the Smithsonian documentary on the Green Book. That's what it is, Miss Price. You can find it on YouTube. It's a Smithsonian documentary on the Green Book. But back to the topic, we're American. You remember Do the Right Thing when he was like, Magic Johnson's black? No, Magic Johnson's, no, he's American. He's basically American. No, he's not. Michael Jordan black? Oh, no, he's not. All of your favorite black men are black, but you don't want to look at them as black. You want to look at them as American. He's an American treasure. He's not a black American treasure. You get what I'm saying? He's not a black man. He's not, and what I mean by he's not a black man, black men aren't supposed to hold him in high esteem. Black men aren't supposed to say he's one of us. He's supposed to be black people, a black person, and an American, not a black man. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. You know, so sitting there looking at this stuff, and it's like, all right, no problem, Miss Price. David, what's popping? So now we American, because think about it. Martin Luther King is American. It's about to be Black History Month, and we don't necessarily celebrate blackness. We're going to celebrate American stuff. But here's the problem with that. Have you noticed the Super Bowl is in Black History Month, and they never celebrate Black History Month, even though 75% of the players are black. The biggest thing the biggest event in America is in Black History Month now. And it's been for a few years. They never celebrate it, because if you have to celebrate it, you have to celebrate the black men who are there. The NBA don't necessarily celebrate Black History Month like that. They'll celebrate Hispanic history. You know, they'll change all the names to Spanish names. They might even change it when Asian Heritage Month comes. They have all the Asian names. But do they do anything for Black history when all the faces of the NBA pretty much are black? Because these black men are American. We're not black people no more. That's why I say it goes in the community and out of the community. We're not people. We're like fetishized figures of something. You know what I'm saying? Black bags matter. But that's a problem, because now, since we're American, what happens when black men become American? You know, hold up. Let me put it up. Yeah. I appreciate you saying that, man, Code. But we're American. And what I mean by us being American is when we do something, it's an American thing. You see, when you look at a black man can be your hero as long as he's viewed as he's something American about it. And it's like, oh, really? Really? But if that was the case, America would treat black men the same way they treat these heroes. Rollo was good. But that's not the case. You know, Jackie Robinson is great. We don't care like that, though, because he's an American hero. Muhammad Ali is an American hero, even though Muhammad Ali was black first. Even Jackie Robinson, say what you will, he made history. You get what I'm saying? But Jackie Robinson didn't stand up for the anthem either. We forget that, don't we? But we don't bring that up to bring it up. But we American. Like I said, Martin Luther King is American. To a degree, Malcolm X is American, and the reason why I keep saying we American is because every group that's not black men, including black women, use historical black men and black figures as, guess what? I'm getting treated like I'm black. And when people say they're getting treated like they're black, they, what that says historically is black men in particular, not black women. You're getting treated like a black man. That's when it becomes a problem. And I thought about this today because earlier they had this little clip of this guy. All right, Prometheus, take care, fam. They had this clip of they'll never celebrate Malcolm. You're right, Faye. They celebrate him to a degree. Wow, so he don't want to say black. Hold on, Suge. let me back up about the American part. When everybody says they oppress like black, and when I was talking about, because I looked in the chat and I got thrown off, so I'm sorry. So I think he was a Hispanic man, construction crew. So one of his coworkers, one of his employees was a black man, and all the people cashed their checks, but the bank wouldn't cash the black man's check. And the guy walked up there and he had to he got mad because he knew why this black man couldn't get his check cashed at this place, because he was black. Hold on for 1 second, y'all. Hey mom, I'm doing a podcast. I'll call you back, okay? All right. Bye-bye. So what winds up happening is other groups of people see this and they realize they don't get treated like this. And the reason I'm thinking about this is because something else crossed my mind today when I saw that clip in the bank. People forget, not too long ago, the movie The Banker was supposed to come out. The Banker was a movie with Anthony Mackie and Samuel L. Jackson, right? And it was about how the fight two black men had to the things that two black men had to do to have a bank in America. And for some odd reason, if you never noticed this, that movie had a release date, and then all of a sudden the release date got scrapped. And nobody ever talks about it like, wait a minute. Because if that movie would have came out, y'all realize it would have said a whole lot about America that we've been talking about for years. See, you're not going to find a movie about, what's up, Tony? You're not going to find a movie about, how can I say this, white people who America stopped them from having a bank, or Hispanics, or Asians, or even Native Americans, probably not even that way. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be a gay movie about that. It's probably not going to be a black women's movie about the government and officials going at black men. Oh, March 6th is the new release date. Okay, appreciate that, Kevin. Because at the end of the day, it's like, wow, who else experiences this but black men? Who else experiences this? Who? Nobody. Nobody in America experiences this type of stuff but black men. You don't hear black women saying they can't get a check cashed. You don't even hear black children, who people give a bank account, they treat the children well. So we become American. And the reason why I talk about this is because the next part that bothers me is the term intersectionality. You know now, Aubrey, because black men are used in intersectionality with black women, black children, gays, Hispanics, white people, Asians, Muslims, everybody, all these groups, Jews to a degree. It's all this intersectionality about oppression. I'm oppressed. Something happened to me. How did something happen to you? Black people are considered anti-Semitic, even though we're Semitic people. Because I don't know if some of y'all even know what Semitic means. You know what I'm saying? Semitic is derived from the word Shem. If anybody has this biblical term, Shem, Semite, Semite, people who descended from a Afro-Asiatic, who spoke Afro-Asiatic language, right? Yeah, I got it, Mike. I got a little bit. I got a degree around here, Uh-oh. Hold up. You just, well, I hope you understand. Cosby is 80. Russell Simmons probably gonna live a long time, but that's the thing. We're at this point where we're intersectional, and the reason I was thinking about this is because that part of it got me. Yeah, Shem was an African as well. That's what the term comes from. When I was thinking about it, they had this clip with the Breakfast Club. T.D. Jakes was on it, and he was talking about a lot of things. And he was like, black people, we got to do something for black people, and people of color and women. And I'm thinking in my mind, that don't mean black men. because they was talking about STEM. We got to get these black women involved. And I don't want to be a hater of black women. That's not my thing. But I'm starting to become a hater of the idea that our community revolves around black women, but then everybody uses black men's experiences to get to where they're going. If we're going to be separate, cool. Separate but equal, or separate but unequal, cool. But if we're going to be separate like this, I don't want to be, as a black man, I don't think we want to be intersectional. I don't want you to use my experiences and here you I have no idea what you count you on, Devin. I don't want other people to use my experiences as a black man to feel like, they're entitled to certain things in America. Because we aren't black people no more. Everybody else is black. Oh, why can't I go into a man or woman's restroom? I'm discriminated against. Excuse me? That's stupid. But you're going to use oppression with black men as a calling call for that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, why don't I have a certain holiday? Excuse me? How many of your leaders have been killed trying to get equality in this country? But you want a holiday for that. You get what I'm saying? Oh man, you guys, you're not competing in these great things. Excuse me, but how many times do your kids go to school and get discriminated against to the point where they don't even want to be in school anymore? How many of you other groups' kids are constantly going into detention and constantly getting suspended more than everybody else? And you can't say, oh, we're talking about children. We're not even talking about teenagers. We're talking about children. And who does that predominantly affect? The black boys. But, we skip over that part. It's intersectional. I got bullied. It's just like just getting bullied. Get out of here Get out of here. Get out of here. I ain't even gonna worry about that $20 bill. Tai Chi, what's happening? My bad. So this is where we at with it. And the reason I was thinking about that, because I talked about this earlier, even with the intersectionality thing, when I was looking at the married at first sight, and I'm looking at the comments. If the black man ain't baby face and he'll give you the sun, the moon, the stars, and the mountains, he's evil in every other way. He's not good enough. Is that true? That's because he ain't black no more. Black men aren't black people anymore. Because, we're getting to this point of we're viewed at in our own community. You trying to be the white man. You acting like the white man, but you ain't on par with the white man. Well, here's the thing. Black men ain't trying to be white. Black men ain't trying to be Hispanic. Black men ain't trying to be Asian. Black men are being black men. But we're not looked at as black men because, all of a sudden black men are failures, right? You say, I hate autocorrect. So here's the thing. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. I forgot you put that on there, fam. So this is an issue for us, politically. Oh, if black men vote Republican, he's a coon. But if he votes Democrat, it's okay. And to the point where people forgot. You remember like last year, it was one of those situations where, you need to get the one Simone Sanders told Luke, shut up, basically. Then they was telling, the guys, we need to get these black men in line to vote Democratic. And the men like, excuse me? Oh, because, we're just the pets of the community who's supposed to come and go as you please. We're supposed to do what everybody else tell us to do. Because we're not black people. We're just a demographic that black people use. And the reason I say that in a sense, because of a family sense. When you think of the black family, look at how the black family is portrayed, not just in the media, but look at when they have advertisements, a woman and a child. Other groups, man, woman, child, or man, woman, children. Our groups, woman and child. Thanks, Dion. Just woman and child. Baby, diapers, black woman, black child. White man, white woman, white child. Hispanic man, Hispanic woman, Hispanic child. Ours, black woman, black child. That's a problem. That's such a big problem. The commercials, if just a bunch of single people, right? Not families, single people. And if they ain't single, it's interracial dating. Like they talk about the men doing this, but when we look at it, you know, I thought about it. They had this one show. It was recently. It's probably still on, where people was always talking about Scandal, but there was another show where a black man was married to a white woman, and his mother and the ex-wife were cool. But here's the kicker: the guy was in the military. He was dead. So the show was around the black man being with the white woman never existed because he was dead. So even if it's an interracial family, that guy's dead. You get what I'm saying? So it was like, oh, okay, this is what we doing now. But everybody's fighting for his cause. That's bull. You know, it's bull because when we talk about men's rights, you know, this was the thing about guys MGTOW and guys Itmore. The fracture became because black men are different from white men and Asian men and Hispanic men. We're different. So we have to do our own thing because it's really not the same. But those same guys, they use our struggles as their own, as if the same thing exists. Living Single, the TV show, I ain't even think about that, fam. You know, so here's a problem. So we're not black people no more. You can have a black family without us. That's a black family. No man in sight. That's a black family, and that's the black community. You know, but we don't take that into consideration. So if black men, if you see, you know, see this scenario where they say, you know, black men are good fathers, but here's the problem. We're not seen as black people in our own community because guess what? On a personal level, how much fighting do most black men have to do to be fathers? That's a problem. You got to fight to be a father in the black community. I got to go to court to be a father. I got to go through the police to be a father. I got to go argue with a mother to be a father. What about you should marry that woman? Maybe that woman don't want to be married, but because she don't want to be married, I got to fight with her to be a father. But we all together, we got unity. We're loyal to each other. We're loyal to black people. No, we not, because black men aren't black people anymore. It's okay. You don't hear the black community coming around black fatherhood. Like stop. We got to stop. Pushing fathers out of kids' lives. We got to stop acting like I'm a brother, I'm an uncle, so this kid don't need their daddy, but I'm a black man. See, we're not exempt from that either. Black men aren't black people with black men. You know, that's a problem. We're not black. We're not viewed as black people anymore. Because of all the things we have to do. We got to do everything for black people, but we're not viewed as black people. I remember when that female cop stood up against racism, I think in Cleveland, and she said, you know, I could be a double minority. I'm black and a woman. But a black man is actually isn't black. You know what I'm saying? Being a woman makes you more black than a black man. But black men have to face all of the consequences. That's interesting. The sisters know they don't deal with America the way we deal with America. We don't. They kick men out of some churches. Wow. You know, I got to give up 1,000 to be a father. Yeah. Exactly about start catering to the boys. Well, SC, what's up? Now, I don't know if I said what's up to you. Hey, Gone, what's happening? You know, that's a problem. It's a big, big problem. And I thought about it in this situation of, and people are not going to like what I'm about to say. Black men aren't black people when it comes to sex. You know, who you screwing? You're not worried about who and some of y'all don't realize this, but there's a demographic of black men. The vast majority of black men just, you know, can say to a degree for a lot of people with penis in a wallet, right? You know, so that's one of the problems, right? We're just a penis in a wallet. Yoshi, what's happening? Mister, what's happening? Kavita, you trolling again. I see you, playboy. You know, Bennett, what's happening? But we're just a penis in a wallet. You know, you know what makes us black? If we're having sex with a black woman that black women say we should have sex with. And what I mean, I'm not talking about George, what's happening? I'm not even talking about dating outside the race. She got to be a certain complexion. She got to be a certain size. We got to be able to, if we should be having sex with her because even her attitude, even if her attitude's bad, maybe it's a black man that caused her to have this attitude. So even other people's, you know, even your ability to interact with black men is really, how can I say this? At the blame of some imaginary black men that may or may not have existed. I don't, TD Hutch, what's popping? Ray, what's happening? So I owe you my body because, you know, everybody else, it's their body, their choice. You know, but hey, that's cool. But with us, who you sleeping with? You're not looked at as a black man in the black community by other black men sometimes if how many girls you got. Well, you ain't a real black man unless you know, got a lot of girls, a lot of women, unless you screwed a lot of women. Well, what about, is he actually a good man? Oh, that don't matter. You're not a black person. You just, look, your importance is how important of a man you are is basically built around how many people you slept with and can't sleep with, not the things that you've done, not the lives that you've touched, not the impact of your life. You're just a dick in a wallet. And if and the reason I talk about the sex part of it is, oh, DeWanda, what's happening? You know, you're just a sex in a wallet thing. So here's a problem. You know, if this guy marries you, he has to fulfill you. He has to satisfy you sexually. You know, ironically, we're not black people anymore on the reverse part, because if we're coming around family members or children, we're looked at as sexual predators. So on one end, we looked at as, you know, we're not human beings. We're more so as dick in a wallet. And on the other end, we're sexual predator to everybody around us. I ain't worried about you, Kavita. I get it. You know, I don't trip on stuff like that. But so here's the problem. But we're not part of black people. We're not part of the black community. And I hate to use this reference, but it applies. You know, R. Kelly is considered a predator to, you know, but the people who molested R. Kelly, because that don't matter. He need to get over that. But see but what was the girl that shot the dude in the head when he was asleep? They looked at her past of being, you know, over sexualized as a child as a reason to give her lenience. I'm not saying you should not pay for your transgressions, but what I am saying is this: if you're gonna treat a person like a human being, treat us all like human beings. But black men ain't human beings. Black men ain't black people anymore. We're just something we're something else. I don't know if we transcended outside of being the black people, or we got kicked out, or it's an exodus now because we're not getting treated right. I can't tell you what it is. You know, it's one of those crazy things. Lucas, what's happening? But it's about sex. Because we aren't people, and we're not black people, you know, and I hate to say this, but I'm talking about a certain type of black man. The guys who are productive, the guys who are progressive, the guys who are smart, the guys who are intelligent. I dig it as a power grab from atheists, just a salad provider to me. You know what, Devin, whatever. But that's a problem. That is because when I look at it, we're not, black men aren't black people because the black community wants the worst of black men to represent black men. The black community wants to uplift, you know, the most dysfunctional black men as black men, the most degenerate black men as black men, the womanizing black man as a black man. And here's the problem. You prop those guys up and then you say those are the black men, and all the vast majority of black men are good men. They're not dysfunctional. You know, they're not degenerate. But you want to prop up who you want to prop up. What's up, Michael? Oh, come on. You know, green fingers, what's popping? So, but Ned, what's going on? So what winds up happening is, guess what? The black men are the black men that we say are black men, and those black men are very highly flawed. Appreciate it, random woman. I appreciate you. You know, they're highly flawed. So, because black men do this to other black men, I'm in a relationship with a woman, and I do her wrong. So, all the brothers would do girls wrong like I do. No, that's not true. That's not true. All these guys was in the streets like me. No, that's not true. Ebony was popping. All these black men is out here lying and cheating and stealing and selling drugs, just like no, that's not true. See, black men aren't black people anymore because the guys who want to be the worst of us and the women who want to praise the worst of us, they want black people to be that so you can dehumanize men. And this is what's happening. We become dehumanized in our own community. Now, it's hard to say this because some people don't, there is no empathy. And the reason why I say black men aren't black people anymore, because there is no empathy for black men. There's no understanding for black men within the black community. If black men treated black women and children the way the black community treats the way black children and black women treat black men, and other black men treat black men, I will promise you, it would be SYSB whatever. You get what I'm saying? That's a problem. I got you, Tony. So this is a big problem. Big problem. But now we want to. But the other thing about it is black men aren't black people anymore. Because let's talk about legacy. Because when I was looking at that documentary, Red Planet was popping. When I was looking at that documentary on the Green Book, it's on YouTube, Smithsonian. Shout out to Nicole Michelle because when she brought it up today, I watched it. I've been having these conversations with family members and friends for past years, saying things like, these tropes of you got to go to school and get an education so you don't have to depend on no black man, right? Latrell, what's happening? And that goes, the trope of watching all these black boys have to learn how to be men when they're boys and they don't have a childhood. A lot of us have this. A lot of us have this Michael Jackson type syndrome where we didn't have a childhood because we were supposed to be men when we was boys. 1, 2, I knew 1, 2 was popping. So Davis was shriveled for a reason. Oh my goodness. But the legacy part. When I was thinking about it, of all of these homes that have been passed down that people have inherited, all of this money that has passed from generation to generation that people blew, nobody cared about it because it was black men's money. It was black men's effort. It was black men's homes. The black community didn't care. when I was looking at the Green Book thing, when we were able to integrate, the vast majority of the business was black men's business. Even, you know, one of the brothers who did a lot of funding for the civil rights movement, they stopped supporting his businesses. You know, Gaston. They stopped supporting his business because we want to integrate. Because guess what? The black man don't need to make no money. What do you have to pass down to the next generation? Well, here's a problem. The black man that built up something for the next generation, you don't support it for him to pass down to the next generation. So the next generation has nothing. And then I started thinking about something else. Because I have conversations with older family members. And, you know, some of those have passed away. Some of those are alive. There was a lot of black fathers who had sons and daughters who gave their daughters everything and left their sons hanging. You know, there are men out here, you know, you can have 2, 3 kids and that house and inheritance. You give that to your daughter. You tell the son, you're a grown man. And I've been seeing this lately in my life, talking to family members. There've been a lot of women in their 40s and 50s and even 60s who lost the house that they inherited because they didn't pay taxes on it, because they took the house and they took the money and they just went spending and spending, and they don't have it no more. Life insurance policies. What do you know? Who's your beneficiary? What do these guys do? Your wife, your daughter, or your girlfriend, not your son. Your son don't inherit things. Your son don't inherit it. It's because he ain't part of the black community no more. See, I'm not just saying this comes from a female standpoint. I'm saying this comes from a male standpoint also within the community. A man is supposed to go out in the world and build his own. And then you talk around, well, how come we don't have nothing? Because you're supposed to build on something. You want generation after generation after generation of black men to build something from scratch while you're giving everything that you built to your daughters, to your girlfriends, to your wives, to your side chick. But you're supposed to be a man. But if you got a grandson, he'll be all right. But if you got a granddaughter, I'm a spoiler. And I thought about that because I was listening to Steve Harvey earlier in the week, you know, and it's something that's said all the time about fathers and fathers that are well off, and I understand it. You know, if a man can't, if your daddy's a millionaire, or if a man can't do what I do for you, I'm gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. Let me get this right. You are 50, 60 years old, and it took you 20, 30 years to accumulate your wealth. Your daughter is 25, and she's supposed to meet a man that's 25 that is going to do for her what you doing for her now at 50 and 60 years old. Right? No, what it is you want her to be alone because you don't want her to deal with men. All tough but no love. I see that, right? You know, Kevin, what's happening? So now you want this over and over and over again. And then people want to be proud. You want to be proud of these black men. My son became a doctor. My son became a lawyer. My son became a businessman. My son became successful. Oh, man, in spite of you, in spite of the family, in spite of the community, in spite of the friends. And then you wonder, these black men are leaving the neighborhoods and never coming back. These guys don't feel like they're part of the neighborhood or they're part of the community because they ain't black people no more. They're not black people. Look at the black church. Why do you think black men aren't in the black church? Because black men's, you know, lives don't matter to the black church. As much as black men in the black church have done over these years, guess what? Black men don't matter to the black church. Not at all. And what's ironic about being black and a black man is if you're a black person and you go into a black church, you predominantly have a black male preacher, and we all know this to be true. Jesus was black. But you can't even make the black men in your church, feel like they're part of the community. That God has their back just like you do. You can't even do that. See, black men aren't black people anymore. That's what's messed up. You know? But you know, sometimes black men love being a little, oh, okay. Kavita, I'm about to tell you a new one. It's really not taught. Oh, I'm glad you said that. So everybody, let's read it along like but sometimes some black men love being a little boy blue that don't know what to do. It's really not taught for most black men to hold their own. So who gets taught then? Who gets taught to hold their own? You know what I'm saying? Who gets taught to hold their own then? Think about that. They say the mother's the first teacher. So they mean mom ain't teaching their son to hold their own. They mean dad ain't teaching the son to hold their own. So who they teaching to hold their own? The little girls. And this is the problem that we have in the community. This is why black men don't feel like think about that. If I'm a boy, I am a boy, but if I'm a boy and I was there like this when I was younger, I had cousins, right? I had cousins. My female cousins would get everything they want. True story. I got kicked out of my house with my mother because my female cousin came and started a fight. But she a girl, but she had been starting fights her whole life. My female cousin wanted something. Everybody gave it to her. Everybody. But I wasn't a person because I got kicked out of I was living with my mother in high school. My cousin was in high school. Came in because she started craziness everywhere she went. Didn't take but 2-3 hours. I'm sleeping in the bleachers at the high school. You know, but nobody took it into consideration. I remember being looked at crazy for years because I didn't like this particular cousin. I remember that. And you know when the family was like, oh, 2 incidents happened. She lied and said she got raped by a family member, and they was like, we done with this. And then right after that, no, I take that back. Prior to that, she moved with another family member and she stole her wedding ring and pawned it. Then it was like, oh, she really is like that. Then after that, she did the fake rape thing. But because she was a girl, it was like, and the same thing with the kids. You know what I'm saying? The black kids are above black people, above black men. And the reason why I say that is because how many of these kids were taught to respect the women but disrespect the men? How many? Because the vast majority of our community has this issue where, you know, listen to your mama, listen to your grandmama, listen to your auntie, you know, to the point where subconsciously what winds up happening is when a woman talks, she gets loud and aggressive and over the top, and we got to just let her slide. Nobody checks it. Nobody goes like, hey, you need to chill out, because the women were taught to be respected. But the men, no. You ain't got to listen to him. You ain't got to worry about him. Did he give you $1 million yesterday? You don't owe him nothing. Did he, you know, what he done for you lately? Yeah, he did that for you, but I'm taking credit for it. That's a problem. So you teaching this disrespect. You know, how many black men need a place to stay? I mean, and I'm gonna get to that too. Because it's part of the issue about, you know, blackness and black men not being a part of the black community. And I'm glad you said that, Ms. Price. You know, we rock with you. But the thing about it is, black men are looked at as incompetent like this. Do you realize how many black men have given black women a place to stay and filled out their job applications? See, we look at this from an aspect of, you know, when somebody does something for black men, all these black men. How many black men have helped women get jobs, give them a place to stay, fill out applications for jobs for them, help them in school, get them, you know, pay for some of their schooling, pay for some of their situations, pay their rent because it's due, help take care of their kids, the kids that's not theirs. See, when we talk about black, we don't talk about the black men in the black community that do all of these things. You gotta, like, we don't take this stuff into consideration, all of the things that black men do and get ignored for doing. You know, we don't. You know, we don't talk about, you know, like, I got female friends and family members. I remember I walked into a family member's house, apartment. I was like, "Damn, where you get that TV from?" She's like, "Well, these brothers, it was like a brother, two black men, well, roommates, and they were leaving the apartment complex. And it was like, hey, you need a TV?" She was like, yeah. And they brought her like a 50-inch TV. They just gave, they said, look, we going somewhere, we ain't gonna need this TV, where we going, here you go. She had been living with that TV for years. Furniture. You get what I'm saying? How, you know, me personally, I know the things I've done. I didn't help people's homes, fix their cars, you know, help their children, this, that, and the third. But black men don't get that. And the reason I started thinking about this was like, we're not black people anymore. When they say, let's look out for each other, nobody's talking about looking out for black men. Nobody's talking about that. When we say, let's look out for each other, it's saying, look out for black children and black women. What do black women or black men or black children do for black men? Nothing. And I'm not even a gesture to say thank you, not even to pay reverence. Absolutely nothing. As a matter of fact, it's taught in the community that if you have to do something for a black man, you're going to give him an attitude about it. You know, you're going to give him an attitude about it. That's a problem. I ain't cooking for no man. Like, I've cooked for black women all the time. I'm a better cook. I talked to somebody that's probably in the chat now today. I told her, I said, look, my mother, I cook better than my mother. She asked me for recipes. I can clean better than my mother. Now, what I mean by this, I can set the tone of a peaceful house better than the females in my family. You know, I can't believe I'm asking that question. Captain Planet. I've had females stay with my house. What's happening, AM? How you doing? You know, I've watched this over and over and over again, where we talk about what black men are and are not, and I've been guilty of it too, to a degree, where, you know, when I don't agree with something a brother says, we can't disagree in a respectful manner. We gotta just go in on them. We just gotta go in on them. I know about the hat and the cookies, definitely. Thank you. Seriously. What's up, Kevin? But that's an issue. Major issue. You know, this is one of the things that go on that we don't like talking about. That, you know, we're not part of the community. When we think about voting, and what can we vote for that's in black boys and black men's best interests? What can we do that's in black men's best interests? What? We owe everybody, you know, in our community a favor, and our community doesn't owe us a thing. This is the issue. Does anybody, when we talk about getting a hookup, how many hookups do black men get? How many hookups? And a lot of times, and I'm gonna tell you, you know who hook up black men? Other black men who know what it's like to be a black man in the quote unquote black community. Like, yo, I got your back. I got your back. We don't even think about it, about what can I do to make this guy's life better. And that sucks. You know, and I feel you. I'm the same way, Mars. You know, this oh, snap. All right, hold up. So now when these guys say, I'm gonna go elsewhere, I'm gonna just go do me. You owe the black community. How they owe the black community? Thank you. Hold up. Black men should vote for more education because critical thinkers is what the black community. Wait. I'm gonna be petty when I say this, Kavita. Aren't black women the most educated? How can the black community lack critical thinkers when black women are the most educated people in America? How? How is that possible? Harambe! How? See, you know, and going back to that documentary, back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, there were a lot of black lawyers, black doctors, all this stuff we talk about, STEM chemists, funeral directors, this, that. There was a lot of people like that. There was a lot of educated black people back in the day, even though it was so much going on, right? You know, how did we wind up getting away from STEM? Because of all the things that happened. You know, all the things that happened. How did we wind up getting away from music? Because of all the things that happened. People forget that at the end of the day, black men have created and I know people don't want to say this, and I'm going to say it, screw it. Black men have created the most wealth for America out of every American, including white people. What's up, Sister George? We've created the most wealth for the whole country. And it's like, wait, well, you know, all slavery was free labor. And then we'll say, well, black women were slaves too. So slavery lasted 200, you know, what, 230, 300 years, something like that. You do realize black women black men were here for 150 plus years with no women. The women came in the last 80. So black men were basically here double the time as black women were before black women came in America to build wealth. Now, all of the things that black men invented in this country that black men don't get paid for, that wasn't inherited. When I was looking at the sundown towns and all these race riots and Rosewood, like the movie type things, people forget something. All of those black people who picked up and left those towns because of these race riots or whatever, they had to leave their homes. That some of those homes were paid for by black men. So guess what? These white families inherited free land and free homes that they passed down, that they could leverage wealth upon. That's part of the issue. It wasn't just people burn down towns and people lynch people. No, like I said, I come from one of those families where, you know, when let's just put it like this, my great-great-grandmother had to move to the project because when my great-great-grandfather died, they tried to kill her to steal the land. So she had to go from the country, from Homer, Louisiana to New Orleans. I ain't even getting a rap. That's the thing. I ain't even, this is even before rap. I'm going to get to that, Miss Price. No offense. You know what I'm saying? Do you realize the whole potato chip industry was invented? Potato chips was invented by a black man. The George Washington Carver thing, as far as the way plants are run. So who invented the way we have the part of the Industrial Revolution, even with the car manufacturing, was a black man. So that's a whole nother industry. Not you know, black men will run out of the car building industry because of racism. That's a whole other thing. Black men invented the air conditioners. The black men who invented the refrigerator and the air conditioner, which was part of General Electric, which that company to this day owns 10 cents on every dollar because of everything that they create. Wait a minute. That comes from black creation. You know, all of these, you know, all of the medical advances and stuff and the techniques. Black men didn't get paid for the things that they created in that way. They didn't. They didn't. You know, let's not forget all of the video game system, the single console video game system that all gaming is based off of was invented by a black man in America. You know, so your Xbox, Nintendo, Atari, Sega, PlayStation, EA Sports, all of these companies are derived from the invention of a black man. Not to mention the cell phone. So where does all of this come from? So all of these industries just popping up out of nowhere. All of these businesses that had the vast majority of construction in America and architecture in America. Why was that? How did that come to be? Because of slavery. The very White House that we still looking at to this day was built by black people, black men who were slaves at the time. Oh, wow. Thanks, right? Like, so when we build things, they last. Think about that. Black men built the White House and it's still standing and ain't going nowhere. You know how many other homes these brothers built? You know how many other buildings these brothers built? You know how many other structures? When we talk about we need infrastructure, we had infrastructure. You know what we wind up doing? Walking away from infrastructure because of integration. And then we get mad at black men and we view them as less than because we walked away from black infrastructure because of integration. And now it's black men's fault. Did you have hotels? You still got hotels. Truth be told, you got hotels to this day, but they're under the banner of some of those names. Of, Howard Johnson, Marriott, I hate to break the news to some of y'all. There's a lot of black businessmen who just bought a lot of chains and just kept the white face to it because your black behind can only respect it if you thought white people owned it. Thank you. Percy Julian invented synthetic paint. Look at this. Oh yeah, I knew about that perception. Yeah, I know about that, fam. So, but these types of black men, the black community, we ain't black people in our own community. And when I think about, this swag versus the lame thing, let me explain something. In the 90s, we had all these family shows. All of these family shows. Uncle Phil would have been considered a lame. Cliff Huxtable, lame. Dwayne Wayne, lame. Who was the father in Moesha? Lame. The Parenthood with Robert Townsend, lame. Shoot. Even My Wife and Kids, lame. You get what I'm saying? Thanks, Camp Low. Carl Winslow, lame. All these guys had families. They were lame. You know what I'm saying? Lame, right? Oh, hold up. Let me put that up, AM. I'm sorry. Oh, wait, hold up, fam. Hold up. Hold up. There we go. There we go. And I haven't checked it out. I don't think I checked it out. I've been listening to a lot of stuff. So no, I haven't. I haven't. I haven't. I'm gonna do that though. I'm gonna check that out. Lame. You know, all these guys been lame, lame, lame. Rock, thank you, fam. Rock, lame. But all these men were married. All these men would took care of their families. All their families weren't in bad situations. Their kids were, for the most part, safe. What the guy 227, the father net, lame. You know, it wasn't the cool guys. The coolest one was probably in the house with LL Cool J because he was a retired NFL player, right? But if you go from, in our community, if you go from being in the NFL to being a nanny, what would you be considered? Lame. So now we got this issue. Man, I'm a work. Hey man, I'm just here to be of service, Prometheus. You know, they would be considered lame, just lame, lame, lame. But guess what? These are the guys you need. When I think about the movies, you know, Boys in the Hood was a lot of guys struggling, right? New Jack City, struggling. Bunch of people struggling. I know people think about if you gotta kill people in broad daylight, you struggling. You supposed to be millionaires. You don't know nothing to do outside of dealing drugs. You struggling. You know, killing somebody's mama because you as a kid, you struggling. Mr. Imperfection, what's happening? Super thanks, fam. You know, I'm gonna put it up again, fam. Cool Jim, what's happening? Oh shit. Thank you for letting me know that, AM. These guys are struggling. Even Boomerang to a degree, Boomerang, you would be considered lame. People forget, you know, Eddie Murphy was a cool character, but a black man working in a cosmetic company would be a lame. Just like what is the brother that does Shea Moisture? He wouldn't be considered a guy with swag. He would be considered lame, even though that business gets a lot of money, right? Lame. You remember the Calvin commercials in the 80s of McDonald's? He worked at McDonald's. Look at Calvin, lame. That's a problem. So unless we're putting our lives on the line as athletes or fighters, or we're out in the street, we're not worth anything. And I hate to break the news to y'all. This is why the other part about I say black men aren't black people. You know, I played sports. I thought it was a way out. My older cousin, he was in the NFL. It gave me, to a degree, gave me hope. But I'm gonna tell y'all the thing that y'all don't talk about these men that you send out to play, that the men that try to play sports and sometimes even, you know, entertain, rap or whatever. Go to the military. What else am I missing? I'm missing something else. Fighting and shit like that. Go in the streets and gangs. I can still look young, but my body feels old, man. I had to sacrifice my body to go somewhere, to try to go somewhere. What's up, Jamal? You know, I don't walk like a person my age. I walk like a person who's older. You know, the black community don't take care of Earl Campbell. The black community don't take care of Charles Barkley and all those players as they get old in age and they can't move around like regular people because of the wear and tear they put on their body. The black community don't take care of all them running backs and safeties. You think the black community gonna take care of Cam Chancellor or Brian Dawkins as he's retired? No. All the wear and tear Allen Iverson got, the community ain't taking care of his body. He put it all on the line to make somebody else's life better, or other people's lives better. They just gonna discard him. Nobody like no. I think about one of my favorite fighters is Paul Williams. He's in a wheelchair, and I got to salute. What before I say anything else, I got to give a great salute to every black man on the planet, especially every American black man who because of all you deal with, everything you deal with, nothing's ever enough. Veterans with PTSD. Thank you, royalty. Nothing's ever enough. You know, you can't get the big piece of chicken no more because and don't nobody want to make it for you. Right? Who gonna take care of it? That's like as a black man in a black community, you gonna have to take care of yourself after you take care of everybody else. This is why I say we are people. You got to pay. You go to work. You bring home the bacon. You pay all the bills. You do all the housework. You clean it up. You clean the yard. The woman does everything. Thanks, Brandon. This is how you view. You're not a real man unless you go out into the world, make a bunch of money, come home, pay for the home, pay all the bills. If you got a wife, take care of your wife, as in take care of everything that she wants. And guess what? She might do stuff for the kids, but she might be too tired to do something for you. And the kids gonna grow up and love mama, but they're not gonna love you. But we in this together. We family. We black. We black. It's all unity. No, it's not. See this shit I'm talking about right here. Black men that weren't as dysfunctional as you males of today, you done nothing for the black community. And black women know who you are. That's why power walks and black males talk like women. No. I'm gonna tell you what's interesting about this. And this and this is why I say black men aren't black people anymore. Black women who think like this and black men who think like this don't see themselves as dysfunctional. Black men are the default dysfunction in the community. So guess what? You're not dysfunctional. You don't have any problems. I'm gonna tell you, if you did have problems, guess what? It's a black man's fault. And until black men fix everything that you want black men to fix, then it'll make you right. But speaking of power, that's why power walks and black men talk like what? This is a very interesting thing. All of these empowered black women were put in position. Black men paved the way for them to be empowered. Black women didn't do that. And for women with that mindset, here's the issue. Who do black women empower black men? See, when black men empower black women got to certain positions that they feel like they at now. Do you empower your sons to be in those positions now? No, you don't. And some of y'all don't even empower your daughters if you feel like you're at a certain position. What up, David? My bad. So, black men need to have done nothing for what have black women like you done for the black community? And here's the funny part about it. Well, black people with that mindset, what have black men done for the black community? You only do things. You're the type of people who only do things for black women and think that's the black community. This is why I made this thing about black men aren't black people anymore. Because I swear to God, you would help every woman you know. You wouldn't help a black man because you a grown ass man. Ridiculous shit. By any means, who's popping? But I appreciate you though. I really do. I appreciate. My bad. I didn't want that up. Hold up. But this is one of the issues. It's a major issue. James, what's popping? And I don't understand it anymore. I really don't. Um, you can't want black men to help the black community when you don't care about those black men. They ain't part of the community. They ain't. And it seems like people want to act like these guys got to take a deal. BGS says it all the time. You know, what's the give these guys a better deal? What's the deal? See, if we're black people, then the black community has to do something for the black men that has done things for them. You know. Yeah, I mean, you know, hold up. I'm glad you brought that, Mike. I'm not in the TV, but I do remember this. I was talking to you about that, about Thomas Jones. This comment right here, what Michael put up here. If y'all, some of y'all who ever watched Being Mary Jane, Thomas Jones was on it at a particular point. And Thomas Jones played a football player, but he was having seizures. And but he still wanted to play so he could make money. When those guys have seizures and strokes, nobody cares. You know, nobody's taking care of them. That's why they have to afford the best doctors, you know, because you're not gonna get the help you need. And let's not talk about the kids. Let's not talk about the kids who play sports who might have injuries and CTE as adults who didn't make it. You know, I told you, like, Thomas Jones did become a good actor. I've been up here, Kendra, for an hour and 21 minutes. But if you want the link and you think this is interesting, you are always welcome to come, Shug. Always. You know. But this is one of those things where I just got to say it, man. We're not black people. And I can even make this argument sometimes with black people who aren't American. You know, when I talked about intersectionality, black people from the Caribbean, Central America, and South America, and Africa can be looked at as black people in the black community more than the black men in the black community. And that's very interesting to me. I'm not saying these people aren't part of black people, but what I'm saying is everybody wants to, everybody want to be a nigga, but don't nobody want to be a nigga. So everybody want to be a black man, but don't nobody want to be a black man. So it's very interesting, but we're part of the black community. Our struggle is necessary for everybody else's come up. But you don't respect us or want to be us, but you want to feed off of us and benefit off of us. Like a lot of people who are black want to say how ingenious they are. You don't want to give credit to the black men that taught you. You really don't. You really don't. You know, who taught you this XYZ? See, and I'm going to say this, and I don't, like, once again, rest in peace to Kobe. But this is one beautiful thing that I love that I got to see for myself when it came to black men in entertainment, whether it's football, basketball, or I even seen guys in a rap game. They share all kinds of information with each other. These guys compete against each other. They go at each other like bulls. But they welcome each other into each other's homes. They teach each other. They tell each other, "I've been studying you. I know how to beat you, but I'm gonna help you get better." They study each other's business moves and say, "Yo, this, that, and the third." You know, people don't realize, like, Emmitt Smith is a good businessman in the real estate. He talked about having a conversation with Michael Jordan, calling him up to talk business while they both were athletes. You know, man, Hotel, don't you do that. You know, it's everybody. Hold up. You know what? I wish. Oh, Shay, put the Black Men Are Perfect T-shirts links in the damn chat. You know, put the links in the chat. Matter of fact, since you here, fam, Jesus. Cause I bought, you know, I'm gonna sport them when I get them tomorrow. But thanks. Like a black, you know, Kobe Bryant and Tracy McGrady talked about for years how he took moves from Tracy. Tracy took moves from him. They actually did each other's moves on each other. You know. Let me pause for a second. Who the hell told you I was MGTOW? Like, what the? I've never said I was MGTOW. You know what, Kavita? That's why you ain't got a man now. Lying on people like that. But I remember there's a story. Let me get back to this. There's a story about Master P. And I used to be an intern in college for Universal. I wanted to work in the music industry. But while I was in college, I was living, you know, I didn't live on campus. I lived with family members, and I would pay them room and board. And I got left homeless while I was an intern at Universal. So I had to drop the internship and not work and not try to work my way into the music business because of that, right? Don't be hating. Don't be hating. Black men are perfect. Oh, you got black girl magic, but we can't have black men are perfect, Miss Price? Nah, player. You know, what's up, Curtis? This is part of the issue. Big part of the issue. But let me get back to the Master P story. So, Master P, Nelly, Diddy, and there's somebody else were coming out with albums around the same time, in the same time frame. So Universal, the distribution company, was charging each guy $2 million a piece, right? That's Master P told this story before. You probably can find it somewhere. And what happened was Master P did a little digging. And he was like, so how y'all rolling out this promotion? So they had the same guy dropping all of their music off to the same, you know, radio stations and big houses to ship it out. So this one guy was taking all four of them, because I forget who the fourth person was, all four of these black men's music on a plane to these stations, right? But they was charging all four of these guys $2 million a piece. Master P found out. He was like, yo, no. Shit, we could split this up $500,000 a piece because y'all doing this all at the same time. And he called all the brothers first, and then he called a record label, right? Yeah. Yeah, right. Music industry is what you make it. So he did that. And the record label was like, don't tell nobody else. He's like, hell no, I'm gonna tell these guys what it is. You know, I'm gonna tell these guys. So to make a long story short, he was sharing his business acumen with other black men to make sure they didn't get ripped off. You know, they didn't get ripped off. So the label was like, damn. So brothers have been doing that for years. I knew brothers who did the like in sports. They would help each other's kids, cousins. They would teach them little nuances of the game to make them a whole lot better. You wonder why these kids of these professional athletes are so good, or their family members are so good. It's because they work out with the actual professionals, and they teach them small little things that makes them better for them as individuals. This also goes to people who are smart. See, one of my best friends, his cousin is a chemist for a big company who he created an epoxy that's used in like 1,500 different things. But his knowledge, he shares it with other brothers about how to handle things. Of course, he shares other knowledge with his colleagues that are not black, but at the same time, He shares it with everybody else. But people want to come along and get that knowledge from this guy, but act like they didn't get it from him. See, that's the problem right there. So black men aren't black people anymore. We want everybody, everybody wants our information. Everybody wants our skills. Everybody wants our knowledge. Everybody wants our wisdom, even in our own community. But nobody wants to give us the credit. That's bullshit. Damn, I've been on here hour 30 minutes. You know what? Nigga, Y'all lucky I ate before this. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And I appreciate all y'all rock. You know what? I take your back. I'm gonna open it up in the chat if anybody wants to talk for a little bit, and I'll rock with it because I'm off tomorrow, so it don't even matter. But if not, let me see. Let me do this. Because I ain't got nothing to do tomorrow. Well, I do got stuff to do, but I'm off. So shit. So if people want to, if brothers or even sisters want to get on and talk, you're welcome. You're welcome. But make sure I'll put this doggone thing. Together. But this is my issue, man. And O'Shea, if you still there, you get your, the king of the manosphere, the emperor of the Negroes. Strag Star rumors. I ain't worried about that, Michael. I ain't worried about that, fam. We're a black woman ghostwriter. Now that's hilarious. But that's part of the, that's part of this whole issue, man, where, in my opinion, it's like, look, man, until we're viewed as black people, it's not gonna be good. Because I don't think the men just want to be part of a community that they're not a part of. It is what it is. Go all out with your ass, son. Appreciate you, man. Now, I really hate what I'm about to say. I make videos. I used to make a lot of videos. So I'm gonna do more lives this year because I used to make over 1,000 videos a year. I used to make a lot of videos. And I get pushback on some of those videos and the messages. Not a big deal. But I get a lot of black people who don't listen to the videos because they don't respect what's about to be said, because they think they know, because it's coming from a black man. They think they know exactly what I'm going to say, and they're wrong so many damn times. It's ridiculous. For the people that don't listen, they just comment, and it makes no sense to me. No, oh, what's happening, Eugene? It makes no sense to me. Completely no sense. But that's my issue, because if you ain't gonna listen to these black men, if you ain't gonna work with these black men, if you ain't gonna understand these black men, and you're gonna say you better than these black men, stop asking these guys for help. Stop asking these guys, we make everybody else hot. I'm gonna be a jerk and be mean, but black men made black women hot. I'm gonna just be honest with you. All of y'all female empowerment, y'all got it off the backs of black men that was successful for you, that you used to get ahead, that you used their storylines to be, oh, I was so oppressed. Man, get out of here, man. Get out of here. Because when I looked at that documentary earlier about the Green Book, these black men were not oppressing black women. They were not. They were not. But we want to play this game like it's not real. It was real. But, man, you know what, Mike? Y'all can have it 200. I'll put that link in the chat, but now it's 134. I'm going to get out of here since nobody popped up. I thank all of y'all for rocking with me. I hope if y'all didn't catch all of this, catch the playback. 36, what's popping, man? Righteous, what's happening? Michael Harrell, man, all one love. We'll catch everybody else later. Peace. No, I ain't getting warmed up. I'm gone, Miss Price. and on a good note.